Hey guys, welcome to what I hope would be a new series in my channel, Transformers Wiki Readings. Now, you guys might be wondering, Fire, why would I want to read the wiki? And that's a good question. Most people don't like reading nowadays, so I'll just narrate the wiki to you. And while I'm doing it, we'll have a small discussion, like I'm gonna explain some of the stuff they say because some of the times they're not very clear about certain stuff. So I'm here to express my opinion and give you a better understanding and some examples, by the way. Also, if you guys are worried that we're not gonna have enough comedy or whatever, don't worry because the wiki itself is full of comedic comments, so get ready for those. So today we're gonna be talking about G1 or GEEWUNNERS. Now, by the title, you probably already know what I'm talking about, and if you saw the thumbnail, you also know what I'm talking about. Those people, man. The people who will hate on anything that is not G1. Well, don't get me wrong, those people sometimes have a valid argument because some of the stuff we get haven't been that good. At the same time, those kind of people can get either too annoying or too obsessive with G1 to the point of insanity. I think the picture here sums it best. Being able to bring Bayformer impurities into the G1 world? Huh, within your own imagination, Transformers is ruined forever! That's something that a G1er will say. You're not allowed to bring anything that's not G1 related into the G1 world, even if it's like for comedic purposes or whatever. Huh, I wonder how those people feel about the Bayverse and G1, combo packs, when we have a G1 looking character and then we have a Bayverse looking character. I wonder how they feel about that. They must be horrified. Anyways, now we're gonna begin. G1 is a snarky fan term for people who seem to have a knee-jerk negative reaction to and continuing difficulty in tolerating any of the post-Generation 1 aka G1 incarnations of the Transformers property. Keeping in mind that some post-G1 means anything after 1985. Now, that is true. A lot of G1, at least hardcore G1 fans. I'm not saying that anyone who likes G1 is like this, but most people seem to be really intolerant of anything that's not G1. So they're not completely wrong about that. The earliest recorded use of the term G1 is spelled as a normal word, not not in all caps. I mean, duh. Originated with a TFarchive.com username Cliffjumper. Oh wow, Cliffjumper, of course. Who first used it in January of 2003. Since he has a tendency of coming up with mocking puns based on existing names and fandom terms, it's possible that he indeed coined the term. The term didn't see widespread use until 2004, when it was apparently spread to other parts of the fandom, including All.Toys.Transformers by Nevermore, himself a regular member of TF Archive. Mark Bristow, aka Body Count, presumably also helped popularize the term. And nowadays, G1 is an accepted term within the fandom. While the phenomenon of placing Generation 1 above everything else is nothing new, when the 2007 live-action movie was in production, the fandom experienced an ongoing influx of mindlessly angry Generation X members who seem to regard Transformers not as a still evolving cultural institution and business property, but as a sacred relic of the Halcyon, Reagan-era childhoods. Now, something that I have mentioned a lot of the time is that Transformers, it's still by all means a still developing franchise, because back in the days of the movies, Transformers didn't have like a strict, guidelines of what should be done, what should not be done, which characters are important, which characters are not important. Nowadays, we have like things that have become like a staple of Transformers. Optimus Prime and Megatron being rivals. We got the 13 Primes, which is now like an accepted, the thing within the fandom and by Hasbro themselves. Henceforth, we had the power of the Prime storyline. Different continuities in which characters can behave or look differently, but at the same time to still, keep a certain level of relatedness to their G1 counterparts. You get the point. These bitter young people made their voices heard by preemptively denouncing the movie. Not because it would ruin Transformers forever, but because it would rape their childhoods. Now, what's funny is that this is a term used to describe the prequels by a lot of Star Wars fans, but nowadays it's used to regard the sequel trilogy, and with good reason, because the sequel trilogy by Disney sucks. by deviating from the rose-colored and often incorrect memories of the first 2 seasons of the original cartoon. The singularly unfortunate phrase, "so and so raped my childhood," quickly became one of the more memorable used by this group, and used in criticism by this group's detractors, in which it seemed to have taken off a life of its own and overtaken the original usage. So it goes. As such, GEEWUNNERS have most often been stereotyped as hating the live-action film series and treating it like the ultimate heresy against humanity. Now that is kinda true. There is this stereotyping of the GEEWUNNERS as old people that, hate everything that's not G1. That's not exactly true. There's a lot of Transformers YouTubers and people that I know that actually like G1, but they don't hate the movies. This is also a common misconception. However, this has gone way over time after the movie started falling more and more out of favor with the general public too. That's true. After Transformers 3, the movies just, started losing popularity with the fans and the general media. Because after Transformers 3, they didn't gain as much money as the previous movies did. And with the release of Bumblebee, which was able to win over many of the previous naysayers, GEEWUNNERS or otherwise. That is true. Bumblebee actually managed to win a lot of the general audience back and a lot of the fandom back. Even though it didn't make as much money as the previous films, I would say that Bumblebee was a step on the right direction for all parties involved. For some reason, many GEEWUNNERS were particularly incensed by the fact that Optimus Prime, the truck guy, not the tape guy, had flames painted on him, a detail that Michael Bay claimed to have received death threats over. Oh my god, really? It probably would have been okay if the flames were burning down some forest though. Oh my god, okay, even when I was a kid and I didn't spend a lot of the time on the internet to see what the general reaction to the Transformers movies were, I do know that there were plenty of complaints. Even back then, I saw them from time to time. People were complaining about the flames. Now, honestly, I kinda grew to like the flames, but I can understand why people don't like them. I kinda prefer Optimus Prime without the flames. I don't know, people lost their minds because of that. It's ridiculous. I have no idea. That's such a minute detail too. But Michael Bay receiving death threats over that's new. I did not know about that. Okay, the term is not intended as a catch-all nickname for anybody who likes Generation 1. Only those who refuse to accept anything other than it. Or at least how they remember it, correctly or not. Now that is true. A lot of people, when they look back, they have these, nostalgia glasses on, and it makes the G1 cartoon look way better than it actually is. Now, I like G1, the G1 cartoon, but at the same time, it's not the best thing ever. I would say that shows like Beast Wars and Transformers Prime are better than the original G1 cartoon. I know some people are gonna hate me for that, but technically speaking, and from a storytelling standpoint, I would say those two shows were better. It is, at last, often used in this way by those who do not like Generation 1. And are seeking to insult those who do. Additionally, GEEWUNNERS themselves sometimes trot the term around as evidence of persecution, in the process misconstructing the term to make it appear worse, i.e. claiming that people that use the term hate Generation 1 and everyone who likes it. Now that is true. Some GEEWUNNERS will take offense to that and say, "Oh, you're harassing me, you must hate G1 and not be a true Transformers fan." Some people do that, but at the same time that the term GEEWUNNER gets abused a lot by regular Transformers fans. It's a double standards thing. It gets abused by both parties equally. Much like how Ruined Forever spread to other fandoms. The Pokemon fandom uses the term G1 to describe fans who only like the original set of games, commonly known by them as Generation 1 or Gen 1, but not as G1, hence the singular difference. Now, they did use the term Ruined Forever, and that's a term that applies to many fandoms to describe something that, kinda ruined Transformers for a lot of people. Now, you will also note that there's the same, title, the same phrase that Diamond Ball uses for his videos, used for his videos, is Ruined Forever series. Now, I might cover Ruined Forever in the next TFwiki reading because there's a lot of interesting stuff about it, but I'm gonna end the video right here. Before we go, shout out to our patrons, Morais Prime. He has gained access to the Scout tier, and therefore he's entitled to a shout out from me. If you guys want a shout out, all you need to do is you donate to my Patreon. People who donate to my Patreon can get a shout out to their channels, can do a collab with me, can request their own videos, get special roles on my Discord, and stuff like that. Thank you Morais Prime for donating, and shout out to his channel. Link to it is gonna be in the description down below and in the comments down below. go help him out, he needs all the help he can get, and if you want to shout out yourself, all you need to do is donate. So yeah, it's a pretty good deal, but keep in mind we don't force anyone. Well guys, the wiki described pretty well what a GEEWUNNER is. I described my personal experience with some of them, and also, you know, my opinion on them and how all of this applies to the modern fandom. I would say that nowadays GEEWUNNERS must be very happy because there's this huge G1 push by Hasbro. So non-GEEWUNNERS are now angry at the GEEWUNNERS, and the GEEWUNNERS are angry at the non-GEEWUNNERS for not being happy. If there's something you're gonna learn from this series, it's that the Transformers fandom can't agree on anything. That's a fact. I'm sorry, but we really cannot agree on anything. But yeah guys, that was it for this video. Hopefully you'll enjoy and learn something new. For the next episode, I think I might talk about Ruined Forever, because there's a lot of stuff that's involved with that article and it's gonna be really interesting, and I think it will be really fun to talk about. Anyways, if you enjoyed this series, hit me up with a like, comment down below your thoughts on GEEWUNNERS, and if you ever had an experience with one, or are you a GEEWUNNER yourself, and do you think that some of the hate against the G1 fans have been justified or non-justified? Let me know about it in the comments down below. Anyways guys, that's it for this video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay safe guys.